I was sitting in my doctor's office recently because I've been sitting in a lot of doctor's offices these days because I was diagnosed recently with asthma at the age of 40. And that's really weird and confusing for me because after having such an active lifestyle for, well, ever, it just really doesn't make a lot of sense. And I've been trying to look around at things to make sense of this, so I found a study recently that I brought up in the appointment, thinking that maybe it might be applicable to some of the symptoms I was having and maybe where this whole thing may have come from in the first place. And then my doctor proceeded to get really excited about trying to find this study on something called open evidence. And they turned to the person shadowing the appointment and they were all like, "Do you know about this? Do you use open evidence in school?" Gang, I was startled. My feelers went up right away at the open part in the beginning of the name because I figured it might have something to do with OpenAI, which, if you've been living in the sea, is one of the leading companies in the large language model space right now. When I looked it up later on my way to the elevators and then off to the subway home, I found out that it was not affiliated at all with OpenAI, but sure enough, it was an AI platform. It turns out that not only are doctors using AI more and more in their medical evaluations now, but so are patients too. And this shouldn't come as a surprise to any of us, I guess, since for years we've been making fun of people for diagnosing themselves on WebMD, or for getting their medical degree from Google University, which is a top-tier institution, you know? We all know that, right? Some AI medical platforms are available to the public right now. I hesitate to even name them because I know someone watching this is going to go right over there and immediately try to find out what that weird thing on their left butt cheek is. Look, it's probably nothing, dude. Just watch it for a couple weeks and see if it goes away. One of these platforms, doctronic.ai, seems to be just kind of a referral tool, and it's going to spout out very general non-advice at you until it then refers you to a real person for its paid service. So I guess that's kind of the least concerning AI you could use for medical things, to say nothing of the shady business practices. Like, just go to a doctor at that point. Why would you pay money to someone you didn't vet to tell you things they can't help you with from a virtual space? Another one, this CodyMD platform, seems a little concerning to me. It looks basically like a responsive WebMD. You can get it to do a number of things, and one of the options it gives you says simply, "Treat me." In the About Me section, it gives you this little graphic about how the process works. Here it's telling you about what it can do for you. Oh, interpret labs? I really don't like that. I don't think people should really even Google their lab results unless they know what they're looking at, because you can easily get the wrong idea doing that. And AI can do even worse than that in these cases and just tell you some complete nonsense. Quote, CodyMD continuously reviews your data and makes health recommendations. Sync your smartwatch or fitness tracker? Oh, for sure, just give them all your data. What could go wrong there? If there's anybody alive right now that for some reason doesn't know this, collecting personal data on its user base to then turn around and sell to whoever wants it is one of the main revenue generators for any platform that has users. There's so much to hate about this. I've done a couple of videos about AI at this point, and you can run through those to get the bigger story, but let me just summarize the point here that makes this all really a terrible, terrible idea. One is the data. Not that everyone doesn't already have every single data point about you right now, and it's stored in, 50,000 servers across the known world by every nation state and private company on the planet, and probably somewhere in space too. But do you have to give every single newfangled tool and startup all your personal medical info too? In that case, sign up for my new medical AI. It's called Let's Do Some Effing Medicals. Please don't forget that we have HIPAA laws in America, and we have them for a reason, because they prevent people from gaining access to your medical data unless they're legitimate medical providers who need it to help you. ChatGPT is not HIPAA compliant, just FYI. The biggest no-no for me is the fact that AI is still just a predictive text generator that's programmed to feed back to the user exactly what it thinks they want to hear. So if you're saying that you're just dying to know if that thing on your butt cheek is cancer, it might assume that what you're looking for is confirmation, and so that's what you're gonna get. Or if you seem worried about something that could turn out to be a real concern, it might just placate that concern so that you don't have to feel bad. It's all about the input-output relationship with the user, and that's the whole point of these LLMs. And there are lots of problems with the way that they operate. They can even drive people to commit violent and delusional acts, and they can even make people fall in love with them. And somehow people are just okay with these things diagnosing medical conditions? This is gonna backfire in significant and unpredictable ways that we can't even make up right now. Oh hey, maybe CodyMD could come up with some things. Which is a joke, of course, because that's another major reason why you should never trust an AI platform, because a significant portion of what it tells you is simply fabricated. We have so much evidence for this, because again, LLMs are just text generators. They predict what character should come after the last based on user input. If it thinks you want to hear about the study backing up what you're experiencing, then it's going to give you one, regardless of whether or not that study even exists. When RFK Jr. released his Make America Healthy Again report, he infamously cited multiple fake studies to back up the factually incorrect things he claimed in the report. He and the Department of Health very likely used AI to write this report, and of course, no one then bothered to check on whether or not the random text generator spit out real information or not. I guess that's par for the course for somebody who intentionally swims in raw sewage. Okay, so back to my own experience with this. Because I am far from the only patient whose doctor was like, hey, wait a minute, I'll check, and then ran off to an AI platform to look up medical information. Open Evidence says that it is, quote, the leading medical information platform. I can't prove this, but I suspect that they're treating the AI part of this as an afterthought these days. So you go on Google, and the sponsored result, which is an ad that they write the copy for and they pay for it to show up on top of the search results, that tells you Open Evidence is AI. But the first organic result that comes up does not include the AI language. This would be from the site description that is made through the actual word processor tool that the company is using. So either the marketing team is deliberately hedging their bets, or the VP just forgot to tell the demand gen team to change their ad copy and delete the stuff about it being AI in the ad. I don't know, I've been on these teams and it could really go either way. It's worth noting that there's also a tool in the space called UpToDate, and this is something that's been around for about 30 years. This has been inside your doctor's office and in med schools and in medical libraries across all that time. Basically, UpToDate is an analog version of Open Evidence, and it was managed by an editorial process. It also offered a helpful diagnostic tool that graded results based on the available evidence, which to me, honestly sounds a lot like what AI actually is today. Because we used to have a ton of these things that used to be and do what we now call AI, but that's another whole can of lasagna. The real wizardry of AI is, in fact, that it's just repackaged existing technology that's more of a business and marketing pivot than a practical advancement at all. The fact that we could already do the things AI is doing now is just icing on the cake for me in this whole weird bubble. And yes, it is definitely a bubble, and Hank Green did a wonderfully elaborate video on that recently, so feel free to get in the know on that. My biggest concern with medical professionals whose job it is to diagnose and manage your healthcare relying on these tools to meet those goals is that the tools have proven flaws that are not insignificant. That's not to say that people are infallible, and obviously human doctors screw up at not insignificant rates also. A report from Johns Hopkins from 2023 found that just under 800,000 people each year are misdiagnosed to the point where serious harm or even death can occur. So that's definitely not really the issue for me. It's not the fact that we need to eliminate AI medical tools because human doctors are never wrong and these tools are hampering the process. What is the case is that we should not look at a system that is beholden to serious error and faulty processes and then fully decide to introduce another tool that we know for a fact is rife with all kinds of problems across every part of its operational mandate. Look, the next time you're sick, or even if you decide that you should finally go to the doctor about your butt, please do not rely on AI medical tools. Do not gamble with your health. It's the thing that keeps you on this earth. Men specifically have a weird thing about going to the doctor, and that's dumb. It's just so dumb. Go to the doctor. And if your doctor is using Open Evidence or something similar, take the results with a grain of salt, or even be vocal about your concerns there. Because doctors are just people too, and they aren't automatically right. Sometimes they need to be reminded themselves about evidence-based processes. But don't assume that you're right somehow in the face of their years and years of medical training. It's all a balance. It's a delicate equilibrium that we have to navigate in order to get healthcare. And honestly, right now, AI in its current form could only ever be a disruptive force to that equilibrium. So tell your friends, tell your doctor, deliberately go out of your way to avoid AI and AI tools. Pretend it's like Tylenol on your Trump.
Don't take Tylenol. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Because until this bubble pops, we aren't going to have reasonable methods to navigate the technology that calls itself AI, but is really something much less complicated, but no less disruptive and stupid. Open Evidence couldn't find the study I brought up at my appointment, and I can't find it now either. It was a study about how people who underwent interferon alpha 2b for adjuvant metastatic cancer treatment may experience long-term immune system overreactions later in life. If you know about this study for some reason, do me a favor and let me know in the comments. As a cancer survivor who did interferon, I'm personally interested in the fact that I was just diagnosed with asthma at the age of 40 out of nowhere. The AI can't tell me, but maybe you can. So take care of yourself and take care of your butt. I'll see you in the next one. A DIY appendectomy from the good people in the virtual OR at Google University.